Welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance. Just checking where we left off. I hate this place. Here, there's a quest giver. I don't even bother going there because every time something is in this place, I don't find it. It took me ages to find this guy who gave me the quest for the night watch, where I rang the gong and said 12 o'clock and nothing's well. And then there was this quest where I had to go to the cellar in the Rathaus and I didn't find the fucking cellar. I don't know what's off with this place. But it's funny, I'm not the only one who is pissed off by this save system. Read much critique about it. And by the way, also many people critique the combat system and everything. Now that they also play it. Okay, the combat system is not that bad as you first think when you start the game. Because then you are just not skilled enough and the game wants you to suck, but later on, yeah, it's not the best. You know, like I said, when you want to... what's this? Fuck. Fair.
Oh, well, who's this coming here? I never set eyes on him in my... Is that the best you can do? Kill dead. I surrender. Have mercy on me.
The fuck, eh? It's nice when you get attacked by two guys. Yeah, but what's fucked up about the combat system is, I think I said it last time already, you look into a direction, and you want to make a right hook, or slash, or whatever, when you have a sword, or a hook when you are unarmed. Then you have to put the right joystick to the left, and then you punch, but when you... sometimes he just looks to the left then. Maybe when you push it a bit too hard, but I'm not sure about this. Totally annoying. Shouldn't be two action prompts to do with the same stick, so because the game sometimes doesn't seem to know what you want to do. And when you want to run away, it's always not so easy because locking on, locking off doesn't work that well either. So those wise guys who defend the combat system say, hey, it's totally cool, you just don't get it, you're just a noob, you're not skilled enough yet, and blah blah blah. They don't have a clue, they just... yeah. I mean, it's true that it's not that tough like you think it is in the beginning, and it is quite intelligent at parts, but it's not that great. Could be much easier. And those wise guys who say, oh, it's you only want to have it like in Skyrim, just smashing buttons, that's not it. I mean, it sucks in a way, and that's it. Many things in this game are unnecessarily complicated. especially the lockpicking. Didn't even bother trying anymore. Tried it once in the beginning. You never can run away from those fucking attacks. And where the fuck am I now? The fuck is this?
Your money. This won't take long. He'll be able to get out of this on his own.
Christ above! I can't get a wink of sleep.
What are you making such a fuss about?
A fuss? Because of my leg, I have to stay here for at least another week. Hurts like fuck. And with everyone else moaning and groaning all night, I can't get any sleep.
Why don't you go and lie somewhere else?
I can't. Not with this leg.
Maybe I can make you something to help you sleep.
Oh, then for God's sake, do it quickly.
I'm not needed here. Philip, from Skalitz. I don't see any wounds, but he's shaking terribly. He just needs to sleep. He's not reacting. But all I can see that's wrong with him is his leg. I have to ask Johanka. I'm not needed here.
Yeah? Where? What's happening?
You're not from Skalitz?
No, but please help me. I can't stay here.
What's the problem? Why can't you stay until you heal?
I have a family. I'm poor. It's only thanks to the building work that we can survive. And the master told me, if I don't come back in a few days, then I shouldn't come back at all. And where can me and my wife go then? Who'll take us in? We'll end up living in the woods, where any bandit or ruffian can set on us.
What happened to you?
I was working on the building, when the scaffolding up by the roof collapsed underneath me.
Well, and you're very lucky you survived at all.
Yes, that's what everyone tells me. But it's no use being alive if all I can do is lie here like a wet sack of barley.
Well, you're pretty battered, but I don't see anything that a few weeks' rest can't fix.
Weeks? My God, I have to get back to work sooner than that.
Is there anything I can do to help? It looks like they took care of your wounds.
When I was little, my father got trampled on by a horse, and an old hag from the village gave him some kind of purple herbs for it. And he got better very quickly.
And do you remember what the herbs were?
I don't. But there's supposed to be the whole cursed knowledge of the world in this place. Something has to be written about it. A herbarium. Anything.
I'll try to find something.
Thank you. Thank you.
What?
You look all right.
Mostly, but my leg still hurts.
Did the humans wound you?
That's what I tell the ladies. Truth is, I did myself a mischief while I was running away.
And do they rebandage it for you?
Occasionally. They told me they don't have enough bandages.
Well, that's no use. Those bandages need changing. I'll get some. Everything here is fine.
What the hell?
He'll be able to get out of this on his own. What's wrong with that man by the altar? He doesn't look wounded, but he's really pale and doesn't react at all.
He had a broken leg. A bad one. The bone had come right through the skin. We tried to straighten it, but I don't know if we did it right. I'm not holding out much hope for him. I've seen folk in that state before, and it didn't end well.
My God, there has to be something we can do.
And what do you suggest? The monks won't help, and I don't know anyone else who can.
Well, I can try. I'll straighten his leg.
You?
Unfortunately, I've had occasion to try this sort of thing before. You have to place the bones as precisely as you can next to each other. It's hard, but you have to ignore any screams of pain. That's the only way to help him.
Well, fine. Try it then.
One of the sick men, Semek, is complaining about pain and the fact he can't work. He says he...
Semek? Is he one of our people?
No, he's a construction worker. He's bruised and confined to...
Henry, for God's sake, our neighbours are dying here. Your friends. There isn't time to waste on some construction worker's bruises. Oh, honestly, what were you thinking?
Listen, all I need to find out is the name of a herb.
Then go and look it up in a book. You've got your own herbarium, haven't you?
What happened to Philip?
Poor man. There was nothing wrong with him, and now he's getting worse every day.
But do you know why?
Maybe. He didn't run away from Skalitz, you see. He hid for days, among the corpses. If he got poisoned...
But what can we do?
Us? Nothing. Only Father Simon might have been able to save him. He knew a lot about poisons.
And where is he?
You know he left Skalitz years ago.
And does anyone know where he ended up?
If you believe the stories about a wild man in the woods, then Rovnar is the place to go.
Tell me more about the situation here. All right, that's all. Are you holding him firmly?
Aye.
Done.
Damn.
Good health to you, Henry.
You're the one who's in charge of the wounded.
Yes, I'm the infirmarius here. Time was I only had a few elderly monks who couldn't walk to take care of. Now I have this mess to deal with.
Monks so old they can't hold themselves up with their own legs.
Oh, if that were the only bodily function they could control. But I shouldn't talk like that. It's a blessing to live to such an age.
How are the wounded from Skalitz?
Some of them are well taken care of. But others are dying here needlessly. It's a good thing we have Johanka here. I'd never be able to manage on my own.
So you don't normally treat the wounded then?
Well, there were accidents, of course. A broken leg, someone who'd been kicked by a cow or bitten by a goat. But this... I've never dealt with the carnage of battle before.
If only it had been a battle. This was cold-blooded slaughter.
You were there? God be merciful to you and the dead and the wounded.
Henry, I'm glad you stopped by.
What do you think about the custodian?
Baron von Berg? Well, he does his job well. He keeps us safe here. And the last time I saw him was when I was rubbing ointment on his rash.
I heard he's been here a lot lately.
Well, that's true. He comes to visit Johanka. But he's never here long, and he always leaves unsatisfied.
How can I help you?
Have you talked to Johanka?
I did.
Well, if you know something about it, then go and take a look. However, You don't look like you've studied the Hippocratic arts.
That's true. I'm the son of a blacksmith, but I have been around the wounded before. What do I do if I'm not sure of the treatment?
Come and speak to me. We'll see what we can do.
Thank you. Why are they so badly provided for? People are crammed in next to each other, and some have to sleep outside. That can't be good for them. It gets freezing here at night.
I can't afford anything more for them.
How is that possible? You're the infirmarius. You decide how all the money gets spent.
But I have no say in how much money I'm given. And because the abbot's away, it's still the same amount I had when I was taking care of a few old men.
And the local custodian? His crew has enough provisions.
I tried him, but it seems he had some disagreement with Johanka, and now he won't give us anything.
I'll try to talk to him.
Those Christian dialogues are so funny.
Can't believe your conscience lets you leave the Scallops locals in such a state.
I know. I'm ashamed. But my brothers believe it's all in God's hands now.
Can't you do anything? Won't the others help?
Unfortunately not. The brothers in the cloister aren't much interested in the external world. And the custodian has enough on his plate with the chaos in the region. Besides, his main concern is the smooth running of the monastery.
Even so, conditions here seem to me quite unchristian.
You're not the only one.
Thank you. Do you know anything about herbs?
I'm not an expert, but I know a little something. Is it urgent?
Well, one of the workers who was injured during construction would like to get back to work. He mentioned some purple flowers that would...
Herbs.
Oh, purple herbs that should help.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but you can have a look in the herbarium here. There won't be too many purple herbs for bruises and sprains.
How about some potion to induce heavy sleep?
Certainly. The old reliable.
Reliable?
Some of the brothers like a good sleep, and sometimes that's the only way to get one. I'll show you how.
Thanks. I'd like to learn something from you.
And what can you do?
A bit of everything.
Can you now? But to be more precise, do you understand herbs and medicinal plants?
To be honest, not really.
So what am I supposed to do with you? Well, never mind. At least you'll learn something new. Go to the herb garden, take a good look at what's growing there, and then pull up the weeds in the herbaceous beds. Is that clear?
Clear. I can get cracking.
Not so fast. Have I even told you what I consider a weed? It's dandelions, stinging nettles, and thistles. Those plants have their use, but they've no business growing among the euphrasia and the mentha, or anywhere else in that garden for that matter.
How can I tell them apart?
You see, this is the part where you learn something. Look in the herbarium to find out what a dandelion, stinging nettle, and thistle look like.
Where is it they're not supposed to grow?
Between the mint and the eyebrights. Once you've cleared the garden of weeds, come back. And woe betide you if you pull up anything but weeds.
Don't worry, you've never had as good a gardener. How do I know which are the weeds?
You see, this is the part where you learn some.
I see.
It's done.
Did you weed the beds and leave what should be growing there alone?
Not a leaf wasted.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm going to check with my own eyes.
Would you teach me more about alchemy?
Certainly.
Well, I'll...
Tell me more about the situation here. All right.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Whose house is this?
It's our local custodians. The most esteemed Sir Sebastian, Baron von Berg.
What does the custodian do anyway?
Well, he's meant to look after the local community and keep the peace.
But
in fact, he seems more interested in robbing everyone blind.
you don't seem to think very much of him.
Well, of course I do. A man with a nose so stuck up that it acts as a rain funnel can't be all bad.
I'm much obliged.
Don't mention it.
You look bored.
Beyond tears.
How can you be bored here in Sasau? In such a holy place, filled with knowledge.
Don't even talk to me about it. They won't let you touch the books. They don't want to talk to you. And when I wanted to look at the remains of St. Procopius, at least, they ran me off. Me! Like some kind of thief. What good is the whole blasted monastery if I can't even do that?
Well, they say there's not much left of poor Procopius.
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm not blaming you. It's just that only monks have access to the reliquary in the crypt. Folk were even taking relics away from St. Procopia's cave for protection before. Now no one's allowed in there.
I know, but I'd never dream of doing that. I just wanted to touch them for luck.
Maybe I could help you.
How? You're not planning some mischief, are you?
No, not at all. I was going to bring you something from the cave under the monastery where he spent his time. You can get in there, you could touch it for luck, and then I'd return it.
Well, now. You'd do that for me?
Of course.
Then I'd be very grateful to you.
Jesus Christ be praised.
I'm helping at the infirmary now, and I came to...
Ah, and how is Johanka? Do you know her well?
Yes, I do.
Good, good. Does she ever talk about me?
Sometimes. A little.
That's good. Excellent. Johanka means a lot to me.
I'm mainly here for supplies and to talk about the state of the wounded from Skalitz. They need blankets, food...
Well, that's not my problem. Let the infirmarius take care of it.
His hands are tied. Until the abbot comes back, he can't get anything.
And why should that interest me?
Maybe because of Johanka.
What precisely are you getting at?
Something could happen to her too, someday.
If any ill befalls my dear Johanka, she won't be left lying on some grubby floor. I'll personally see to it she's taken care of.
Oh, you're unbelievable.
I don't know what you mean, but you should go now. You're beginning to bore me.
We were talking...
Why are you bothering?
Because I'll pay you.
For supplies? But of course. That will be...
Oh, come off it. You get your supplies from the monastery for free. No one will bat an eyelid if you ask for more. Blankets can get chewed up by mice. Food can go off. Is this enough?
It'll take more than that to persuade me. Yes, these things happen, certainly. And as long as the monastery needs my protection, they'll have to put up with it.
Tell me more. All right, that's... Were you satisfied with my weeding?
You said it was finished, but I took a look at it. Is that what you call a finished job? Try again and do better. That simply isn't good enough.
I'd like to discuss the price.
Well, we can try it.
Here you are, with a little top-up.
My word. Thank you kindly.
Jesus, look where you're going.
Dude, how many plants do they have they planted here? Because this activity is so awesome, you also have to do it in video games. It's not enough to do it in real life. Ah, fuck. You hear Duff in the background. I think the first time that I hear Duffs like this in games. Sounds like they recorded a real Duff for this. Okay, which is not so out of the ordinary for animal voices, of course. Arthurus is also a weed, right? Okay.
It's done.
Did you weed the beds and leave what should be growing there alone?
I may have picked a couple of the other plants by mistake.
If it's only a couple, there's no harm done. I'm going to check with my own eyes.
Did Joachim get that job done for you then?
Don't even remind me. I've never seen such a shoddy piece of work in my life. I had to get it put down.
What did you get to fix it?
Raymond. He's cheap and does a good solid job. Leave Yak and be.
I'll bear that in mind.
Were you satisfied with my weeding?
It wasn't the best work I've ever seen, but you pulled up more weeds than herbs, so you deserve a reward.
Damn!
Thank you. What do you think of
Baron, and the last...
I heard he's been...
That's true.
Thank you. Would you teach me more about...
Certainly.
I'm interested in more of...
Wouldn't you rather learn the basics first?
Well...
And those search missions also are boring as shit. Could at least highlight the objects like every other game too.
Can you tell me something about the poor wretch with the broken head?
Yadok, he was a decent person. You could rely on him. He was honest, went to church. Why do you want to know?
Did he have any enemies? Somebody who would want to...
Kill him? You think someone threw that stone block on his head? If you're looking for the culprit, then have a look at the stone.
Where were you when it happened?
I'm not even sure. Somewhere else. I ran over when I heard the screaming, and they were already taking him away.
Did you notice anything suspicious?
No, I didn't. These things happen with great building works. It wasn't the first time, and God forgive me for saying it, but it won't be the last.
Who's in charge of the place where the accident happened?
Me. I watch over everything here, and when necessary, I go to see my master. He's kept busy enough with the construction of the church.
And are you responsible for checking the stones?
Yes. We tested what load they could handle and how much they crumbled during dressing. But some of them must have been more weathered than we thought.
respects to you.
I see there's not much going on around here. So you've stayed here on your own?
Quite so. All by myself. All the others were either killed by the Cumans or fled to Rattay.
I'm sorry to hear that. And what's keeping you here, alone?
My older brother ran away with the wandering players, so when our father was on his deathbed, he made me swear I'd never leave our home.
I can see you took your vow seriously.
I did. But it's starting to get dangerous around here. Again.
The Cumans?
If it were Cumans, I'd grab an axe and that would be that. But a week back, some rabble made their way through here. They begged me for food, and mark my words, they weren't taking no for an answer. If they'd been just a tad hungrier, I swear they would have stormed the cottage.
There are gangs like that around, true enough. I saw the mess they left behind. Savages.
It was horrible. People tried to find shelter in the church, but them dogs was waiting. They knew too well that's where folk would try to hide.
And where did you hide?
By the grace of God, I got my family away into the woods.
And I don't see your family with you. I hope those bastards didn't sniff them out.
No, no, it takes better man than them to track me down. I sent my wife to Rattay with some others.
Do you think folk will ever go back to their homes?
Oh, I don't know about Skalitz, but the folk here are sure to want to come back. The only thing they're missing is spiritual support.
Do you mean the priest?
Indeed. When the land's at war, noblemen fight to protect their property. But simple folk want someone to tend their souls.
Of course. But it was the Skalitz parish priest who ministered here, wasn't it?
He did. But there's been no sign of him since the attack. Or at least he's definitely not in Rattay among the refugees.
That's true enough. I didn't see him there.
But if you're interested, young fella, maybe you could help us find the priest we need here.
Isn't it up to the bishop to appoint a priest?
Oh, you're probably right, but he don't seem interested in doing it. Why waste time finding a priest for a village with just one old fool in it?
Yeah, you're probably right. I can always ask. But I've really got no idea where to start.
I can help with that. A few years ago, there used to be another priest in Skalitz. Simon, I think his name was.
Simon? Father Simon, I remember him. That's the one who went missing, right?
Aye. I don't want to spread rumours, but they say he was in love with his housekeeper. And then she died somehow, poor thing.
That's not a story I've come across.
It only reaches folk who care for such tales. Well, to finish the story, Simon left the parish and ran away. You know that already. There was neither sight nor sound of him for a long time. Until this spring, he showed up here.
And what's he doing here?
That's just it. People say he's become a hermit.
All right. And where can I find him?
I couldn't tell you exactly, but you could start by talking to that girl's parents. Well, they live on a farm nearby, and it's likely they know more. They may even have had words with him.
I'll go and see what they have to say for themselves.
God go with you, lad, and I pray you find him. If some heathen stabs me in my sleep, I'd rather have a decent burial.
Don't worry. I'll bring someone.
So the game just saved. I take this chance it will go off. Probably be back tomorrow evening. So maybe until then.